Muppets Now Episode 4 Sleep Mode is now out on Disney+. I'm going to talk about each of the segments, pick my favorite, and I want to hear from you as well. Welcome back to Eye to Eye, Disney Through Our Eyes. My name is Kyle, and this is our Disney Variety channel where we cover anything and everything Disney and share our perspectives on those things through our eyes. If you haven't, we would love for you to consider subscribing and make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you never miss a piece of content that we put out for you. 4 episodes now in the books for Muppets Now, the series that is starring exclusively on Disney+. And I think we started out on a higher note, and as time has gone on, maybe some things have settled in a little too much into Muppets Now. Maybe a little bit more creativity is necessary. Now, that's not to say that Episode 4 Sleep Mode is bad in any way. It's just to say that I would like maybe a little bit more variety or a little bit of changing up of status quo of certain segments and things like that. And to be honest, I think the biggest draw away from this episode for me overall is the overabundance of Miss Piggy. And it's been long said here that I'm not a huge Miss Piggy fan, and really the only thing that I think works well with her is her give and take with Uncle Deadly, especially that they've been using the last couple of years. So I really think that that's kind of what maybe takes away from the potential of this episode for me. As always, in every episode of Muppets Now, there are 4 segments to look forward to. The ones in Episode 4 Sleep Mode are going to be Mupp Close and Personal, Muppets Lab Field Test, Okie Dokie Cooking, and Lifestyle with Miss Piggy. Let's take a look at each one of the segments right now, and at the end of this, we'll see which one I can pick as my favorite. Segment number 1 is Mupp Close and Personal, and I gotta be honest, when I saw that this was gonna be part of the lineup, I got super excited until they replaced Kermit with Miss Piggy. Now, my understanding of this segment that it was gonna be Kermit each time, kind of as the headliner Muppet, interviewing celebrity guests and things like that in a non-scripted format, which I really thought played really well in the first episode where this segment last appeared. So to see Miss Piggy replace Kermit in this role is a little disappointing to me. However, it really wasn't that bad. Aubrey Plaza was the special guest, and she's a certain type of character in one sense of the word. And I think that, again, for this, the success of this segment is dependent upon the Muppets and the actor together in this non-scripted format. I personally think that Fozzie Bear would have been a better option to be paired with Aubrey Plaza because he'd be trying to tell jokes the entire time and she'd be like rolling her eyes the entire time. Although I do think Miss Piggy had a couple of good moments with Aubrey Plaza, especially when they used Uncle Deadly to kind of change things up for a little bit and kind of throw some of his brand of comedy in there as well. Miss Piggy, for me, again, just isn't my favorite Muppet, and the main thing that I like is Uncle Deadly being there with her to kind of play off of the humor that usually doesn't land for me. Segment number 2 is Muppets Lab Field Test, and that is obviously going to include Bunsen and Beaker testing some aspect of science, and this time it was sound, and more specifically, the vibrations that sound creates. Now you're thinking to yourself, how do you actually display the sound vibrations? Well, they used a couple of different tools in this one, and they also brought in an old computer out of some warehouse that they keep to help them with this. I mean, this thing looked like it was back from the 1980s and early 90s, really like before even dial-up type of thing. And there were some funny comedy bits with the computer trying to beg them to keep him outside of the closet, keep him away from the spiders. So that was pretty funny as well. So they use a couple of things to demonstrate sound waves. A Chladni plate, never heard of that before. Basically, they put salt on it and then put some vibration from sound through it and watched how the vibrations kind of formed in the salt on the plate. It was actually pretty interesting. You didn't think you were going to learn something on this segment because it's a Muppet show, but kind of did. They also used non-Newtonian fluid, which is like just a weird thing on top of an amp to kind of show how that is affected by sound waves as well. Here I am bouncing along with it. And finally, the computer decided that it was going to try to keep itself out of the closet by trying to play to Bunsen's sadistic tendencies that he's shown, especially in this segment during Muppets Now, by telling him we can break things with sound waves. Only problem is that it broke the computer as well, and thus the computer has to get thrown away. Overall, I thought the segment was pretty good. Not the best, but not the worst either. Just kind of right down the middle for me of the Muppets Lab segments I've seen so far. Segment 3 is Okie Dokie Cooking with Swedish Chef and Beverly Plume back as our host. If you haven't forgotten, this is the segment where Swedish Chef is going to compete against a celebrity chef to create some dish alongside them. Last time it was a collaboration though, and that didn't really work well for me at all. So I'm glad that they moved back to the competition aspect because I think that reveals a few more funny moments in this. The celebrity chef, his name is Giuseppe Lo Savio, if I'm not butchering his name, so please forgive me if I did. But they are creating spaghetti carbonara, which is really fancy spaghetti, I guess. Overall, the celebrity guest, his appearances was fine. I mean, he wasn't unfunny and he wasn't boring as well. I mean, I think the bar was set really high by Danny Trejo in episode 2. So that's kind of like, it's tough to beat at this point. What I did like about this was the actual Swedish Chef comedy and what he was kind of doing off of on his own while spaghetti carbonara was being created by Chef Giuseppe off on his side. There was just some really funny bits over there that I think kind of raised the segment up a little bit for me than last time. And I think they played really well, even though there were not a lot of funny moments between Swedish Chef and Giuseppe as well. Segment number 4 for episode 4. I told you there was Miss Piggy overload for me in this one. It is Lifestyle with Miss Piggy again. Now, I will say, I do think this is the last time we're going to see this one since there's been one of these in every single episode thus far. Just a guess. I don't know that for a fact, but we'll see going forward. Again, this segment to me just follows the same format every single time with 3 mini segments, giving advice, doing something with Taye Diggs, and then having a Le Chat room in it at the end of it with Linda Cardellini. And all of them were fine. There were definitely some funny moments. Again, Uncle Deadly is the key for me to not enjoy this segment. But I just think that they've got to find something different to do with this segment. They're going to keep it going forward in potential future seasons. One thing I would like to point out though is that in mini segment number 2 with Taye Diggs, they did self-affirmation where they were looking in a mirror and telling each other some positive things, not each other, but themselves some positive things, such as I'm happy with my relationship, which I was thinking about, is Miss Piggy really happy with the whole Kermit and her dynamic that's been going on for years? I wouldn't be. We also get a cameo from Pepe along with Linda Cardellini in the final little segment where they do the chat room version. I mean, he was very funny, giving her a massage the entire time on her hands, and apparently it's very easy for Miss Piggy to jump on over to wherever Linda was in the whole little chat room sphere thing as well. That was just, it was interesting, it's funny, it's a little bit different than what we've seen in the rest of the chat room segment, so I really enjoyed that little mini part of it. I always like to mention Scooter since he's kind of the intro, outro, and filler segments of each of the episodes of Muppets Now. This time with the theme and the name of the episode being Sleep Mode, he's falling asleep because he's been staying up so long to put out these episodes, and he recruits Animal, so it's the first time we've really gotten to see Animal in an episode, trying to keep him awake the entire time. There's even another cameo by the Electric Mayhem people, and I think that was really funny and good to see them as well. Now it's time for me to rank the segments. I gotta be honest with you, I really don't know right now. I'm even kind of like thinking in my head what I'm gonna rank them because I've gone back and forth. I highly recommend that you watch each episode twice because you'll catch different things, and I think the jokes will land a different way for you. And that's the same thing for me. Thought I had it figured out, but now I don't, because after the second time, I'm questioning my original ranking that I had. How about this? There is no segment that is a far away winner for me, and there is no segment that is a far away loser for me. I will say though, again, I said it like 3 times now, I'm not a huge Miss Piggy fan, so one of those is going to have to start off at the bottom for me. And I think honestly it's going to have to be the Mupp Close and Personal one, because I was expecting Kermit to be there, and that happened again, and that dynamic with the celebrity. So I really was more disappointed from that and the change up of it, because that's not what I was anticipating. I'm going to stick to my guns here, and since I'm not a big Miss Piggy fan, I'm going to put Lifestyle with Miss Piggy at number 3 as well. I do think this is one of the higher marks for this type of segment we've seen, but again, I just don't really connect with it as much as I want to. In my number 2 spot, I will put Muppets Lab Field Test, and really it's not so much for the comedy in this, it's because of the interesting experiment they actually did. And there were some funny moments, but it kept my attention the entire time, even if it wasn't for the comedy. And at number 1, that leaves Okie Dokie Cooking with Swedish Chef leading the way again for me. I'm a little biased, I love Swedish Chef, And I do think that he himself was funnier in this episode, but I think there could have been a better dynamic with the celebrity guest. And I just, again, this was a tough ranking for me because I really could have put any of them in any order. So help me out. I can't figure this thing out. I'm even questioning myself right now. In the comments below, let me know if you thought my ranking of these segments was correct or one that you would prefer. If you want to check out more Muppets content from us, I'm going to have some links for you in the description or up above if you want to check those out. And as always, if you haven't, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and have that notification bell marked so you never miss anything from us. That's all I have for you in this edition of Eye to Eye, but until we assemble again, may the force be with you, and I'll see you real soon.